Japan is one of the safest countries in the world, and its capital Tokyo is one of the most vibrant cities in Japan. But living in Tokyo comes with a high price tag. However, living expenses vary a lot depending upon how and where you live in Tokyo. In this video, I will share how much does it cost to live in Tokyo, and I will break down the price in terms of rent, food, commuting and other expenses. And I have some bonus tips to save money on living in Tokyo, so stick around until the end of the video. Let's talk about the living cost for one person, and then I will also share that how the living cost will increase if more than one person are living together. If I try to break down the expenses into major categories, it would be living cost or rent, food, commuting and other expenses like health and self-care. So first of all, let's talk about the major living expenses, and that is the rent of the house. Tokyo is the most expensive city in Japan, and it's still economical, at least compared to the major cities of Europe, America and even Middle East. I will explain the living expenses in Tokyo, and then I will briefly share the comparison with other cities of Japan as well. The rent of the apartment would mainly depend upon where you live in Tokyo. As you might know, Tokyo is one of the largest cities, business hubs and tourist destinations in the world. So if you live in downtown Tokyo, where most of the tourist destinations and commercial buildings are, you will have to pay almost 120,000 yen for a single apartment. And if you go to suburbs of Tokyo that are almost 40 to 50 minutes by train ride from central Tokyo, you can get the same apartment for as low as 50,000 yen. So on average, you can get a good apartment for a single person in Tokyo for 75,000 yen. And this does not include the utilities. If you add the cost of utilities, it would be plus 10,000 yen. As I mentioned before, Tokyo is the most expensive city in Japan. Yokohama City, which is the neighboring city of Tokyo Prefecture, is the second highest in terms of rent. And then the third place is Osaka City of western side of Japan, and so on. And some cities in Japan are not that expensive. You can get a single apartment for 30,000 to 40,000 yen in a month. And yes, one important thing, as the main mode of transportation in Japan is railway trains, the rate of apartment would vary a lot depending upon how far it is from the train station. So this is the accommodation cost for a single apartment. If you want to get an apartment for two people, you don't necessarily need an apartment with double the size or double the rent. You might just need an apartment with one extra room. So you can multiply the cost of single apartment by almost 1.4 times. That means if a single apartment is costing you 60,000 yen per month, an apartment with two rooms will cost you almost 84,000 yen. However, if you are a student, the university usually provides options to live in student hostels or dormitories, and they are very cheap. For example, during my first year at the university, I paid almost 20,000 yen per month, including all the utilities. Alright, now let's talk about the commuting expenses in Japan. I would say that commuting in Japan is a little bit on the expensive side. It is quite comparable with other major cities of the world. That means if you are living in Japan and earning your salary in Japanese yen, the transportation will feel a little bit expensive. But I think it's totally worth it because the commuting in trains is very comfortable. The trains are super clean, super reliable and always come on time. So if I look at my commuting expenses of this month, it is about 10,000 yen. But I don't go to office every day. So if you commute to office every day and also go out on weekends, you can expect to spend almost 25,000 yen per month. But if you are working in Japan, most companies pay for commuting charges. And if you are a student, you can get a monthly student pass, which makes the commuting much cheaper, down to almost 7 to 10,000 yen per month. One of my favorite things about Japan is its health system. It's readily available, very efficient and not very expensive in my opinion. Everyone in Japan has to take national health insurance, which costs around 5,000 yen for people working on normal jobs, and then increases according to the income brackets. And for students, it costs around 2,000 yen. And the benefit of the insurance is that you only have to pay 30% of your total bills whenever you visit a clinic or hospital. On average, one normal visit to a clinic or hospital costs around 3,000 yen. So depending upon how many times you can expect to go to clinic or hospital, you can add that insurance fee and medical bills in your health related expenses. I have a pro tip and bonus information for you guys. One way to save money on rent is to live in share houses, and there are many nice share houses in Japan. And in a share house, you would usually get a small private room, but all other facilities like kitchen, washroom, shower rooms, and laundry will be shared. These, of course, are less private than apartments, but it can save you a lot of money if it fits your needs. Alright, if we combine all monthly expenses, it will be a total of around 120,000 yen to 180,000 yen per month. And if you are living in a student dorm, you can survive in Tokyo for 100,000 yen per month. So this video was about how much you can expect to spend in Japan per month for basic living. And of course, spending would also depend on your lifestyle, and that would influence by how much you actually earn in Japan. So if you are interested to know how much an average person earns in Japan, I have made another video for you to watch it. And if you have liked this video, please give it a thumbs up and consider subscribing to my channel, and I will see you in the next one. Mata ne!